show you step by step how I made these ATCs. And as you probably know, ATC stands for Artist Trading Card. The best way I can describe them is, I guess, an ATC is like a business card for an artist. It's a little mini canvas that's 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, the same size as a baseball card. And in this tiny little space, you can create a piece of art that's representative of you and your style. Sometimes I use things that I've painted or drawn. Sometimes I do more collage, and that's what this one is. It's a little mixed media piece with a lot of interest and a lot of texture. There's a whole lot going on here. So let's get started. I'll show you how easy these are to make. I fussy cut some fairies out of a book that I have, and these are beautiful illustrations. They are just gorgeous. So I have 4 different fairies, and I'm going to place them on here. I have some pieces of napkin that I've cut up, and I'm going to put them on here. And also I have a piece of music paper that came from a book that I got at a library sale for 50 cents. And this has been a fabulous book. So I think that's going to be our base. And I'm going to put some color down on it as well so that we have more of a neutral background with some splashes of color in it. Pretty good. Let's make sure we get it dry. So I'm going to use my heat tool, and I'll be back in a second. The next step now is to paint it. And because I have Mod Podge on here, I'm not sure how it's going to behave, but we're going to try it anyway. If it doesn't work out right, then what we'll do is stop and put a coat of gesso on it, and then we can definitely make sure that that will allow our paint to stick well. But let's just try it and see what happens. If it doesn't work, like I said, we can always go back and fix it so that it does. All right, I have the Jane Davenport, and this is the neutral palette, and I'm going to use Spice first. liking this a lot. I think that the colors are going to blend in beautifully with the fairies and the colors that they have in the background. Next, I'm going to glue down this stark white one. I think that's going to really stand out now. It's the next day. I let this dry overnight. I put it on a piece of plastic wrap. I put it face down, and then I put a bunch of books on top of it. And that helped it to dry flat, and it looks good today. So before I go any further and I decorate it or embellish it anymore, I'm going to cut out my 4 ATC cards. And I'm hoping that I didn't mess this up so that I can get 4 out of it, because I laid it out differently, but then when I glued it down, I moved my things around, and I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, I have this frame that I made. It's 2.5 inches this way and 3.5 inches on the sides. So I can take this and I can isolate exactly what I think is the nicest part of each of these. Some people just cut them, and wherever it ends up, that's fine. But when I have something that is featuring a particular picture, I want to be able to either, center that or make it the way that I want it. So that's why this little frame, this little template comes in really handy, and I like it. So I'm going to draw around this fairy. This is exactly where I want her to be, and I'm happy with her here. Okay, now the next one, I know that I can get her. She's very beautiful. I would like to get as much of her wing in as possible. I seem to like her wing a lot. So I'm going to draw her box here. And then I can cut these out, and they'll be the right size for an ATC. Looks like my boy is good. Maybe I should do my little girl up here first. and see what we have with her. Oh, I think it is going to work out fine. I think it's going to be just fine. So let's do her. Okay, but then I've got my little boy down here. I'm kind of concerned about him. I'm not sure that I can get him. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I could probably do him, maybe I could do him this way. Yeah, that'll work. So he's going to have to be at an angle, and that's the only way that I'm going to be able to get him all the way in to this 2.5 by 3.5. But that's fine. That's okay. I like that. All right, now I'm going to cut these out, and then I'll come back and we will go to our next step. As you can see, I've cut out my cards, and I'm really happy with them. They've turned out really nice. I have this trim, and if you can see it on the video, it's little flowers, and I cut them off individually and use them as embellishments. I haven't glued any of this down yet. I'm still sort of looking at it and making sure that I'm happy with the placement. But I have put 2 flowers on each of my cards. And then I have these little stamps that I found on the internet. This one is Malaysia, and it has pretty butterflies on them. And that's the thing that is the common element. They all have butterflies. This is a Malaysia stamp. This one is British Honduras. It's very pretty. It has a blue one. Hopefully this is focusing. And then this one is Barbados. It has a beautiful green and yellow butterfly. And this one is Swaziland, and it's very pretty as well. And then what I also did was I found some tiny little feathers that I'm going to give each of my little fairies. I'm going to make sure each one gets a feather. I have 2 purple ones and 2 green ones, and I'm not sure if she should get the fluffy one and she should get the longer one. Is that better? No, I think I like the fluffy one with her better. So she's going to get the fluffy green, and she is going to get the long green feather. And I think I do like the placement of all this. So this is how I'm going to put it down. And next, let's start gluing. I think these are done, and I'm happy with the way they turned out. One thing I did do off screen, I went around the edges with a black Stabilo to help it stand out. And they're a pretty nice set. They share the same elements, but they're still very different. Each has a fairy as the focal point. The background is the sheet music that I watercolor painted. There's the pink ribbon and the pieces of napkins and doilies, and they have the same embellishments in common. Each one has a feather, each one has 2 flowers, and a different postage stamp, plus 3 rhinestones. The last thing I'm going to do is I will put my contact info on the back and then sign and date them, and they're ready to exchange with another artist. I'll show you close-ups of this card set in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, and also if you're interested in more projects like this one in the future, please subscribe to my channel as well. So thanks again for watching. Have a great day.